During the reign of the Gang of Four in China, Go masters, like university professors, were sent to labor in the fields. But across the straits in Taiwan, the Ing Foundation funded an international competition for children up to the age of 12, another for students up to the age of 18, and another international competition among computer programs. Ing also funded a $1 million prize for the first time the winner of their computer title is able to beat the winner of their kids' title. That prize has remained unclaimed for nearly 20 years, and I do not expect it to be claimed in my lifetime. After the death of Chairman Mao, Chinese Go recovered rapidly. In 1985, a Chinese team led by Zhuzhou Jiang defeated Japan in an international match. In the past 5 years, Seoul, Korea has emerged as the world's foremost center of professional Go. Today, there are over 1,500 players of professional rank. Here is where they are. Outside of East Asia, most of the world does not play Go. But there are strong amateur leagues in New Zealand and in England. There are also 3 pros in Singapore, 1 in Europe, and 14 in the United States, of which 7 are in California. There are several strong Go clubs on the East Coast and 2 right here in Berkeley. Games played at the local clubs usually last about an hour and a half. But to convey some flavor of the game to those of you who may be unfamiliar with it, I'll now run through a sample game at lightning speed. The game is played on the intersections of a square board. Players alternate placing stones of their color onto the board. First black, then white, then black, etc. Each player is trying to claim territory and/or capture any opposing stones that invade it. Serious games use a 19 by 19 board, but beginners usually start by playing on smaller boards of size 13 by 13 or 9 by 9. When all of the nodes adjacent to a stone or a connected string of stones are occupied by stones of the opposite color, then that string is removed from the board and is said to be captured. The first capture in this particular game occurs on move number 34. This stone is now surrounded. It is captured and taken off the board. It is then black's turn. At this point, there is a sort of a race. White wants to capture this black group, but black wants to capture this white group. But black goes first and wins this capturing race. White gives up. He decides to abandon this fight and to play instead on top of the board. Eventually, black has to come down and get these stones off the board. He does that on move 49. These white stones are surrounded by black, so they are captured and taken off the board. The game then continues. After move 52, modern players would pass. White would claim the western side of the board, black would claim the east. Before discussing this game some more, I want to show you some more details of the capturing rule. At the top, if black were to play here, he captures nothing, so that move would be suicidal. It would not accomplish anything. When black plays here, he captures 2 white stones. Black stays on the board and the 2 white stones are removed. This is a situation where black can play here, capturing 1 white stone, but later white can play back here and capture the black stone. So we now locally have a 2-move loop, where the game could go back and forth, each capturing the other stone several times. This is called a ko. There is a special rule in Go which prohibits the immediate recapture of a ko. However, after playing anywhere else on the board, it then becomes legal to retake the ko. At different times and different places, there have been several slightly different rules for calculating the score. In medieval China, your score was very simply defined as the number of stones of your color on the board. So medieval Chinese players would not end their game here at move 52. They would continue playing into a phase of play I call the encore. During the encore, each player fills his own territory to get more stones onto the board. Let's speed ahead. After move 84, it's Black's turn. Playing into any of his opponent's eyes would be suicidal, and playing into one of his own eyes would allow White to play into the other and capture all of Black's stones on the board. After move 84, Black passes, and after another play by White, both players pass, and the game ends. The medieval Chinese score of this game ignores the captives and counts only the stones on the board. Black won this game by 5 points, 41-36. Modern scoring rules eliminate the encore. Instead, good players using modern rules would both pass after move 52. Each player then receives points for both territory and for captives. This stone, which would be captured later if the encore were played out, is dead. It counts as 2 points, 1 point as a captive and 1 point for the territory beneath it. Black again won the game by 5 points, the same margin as in medieval Chinese rules. This is more than an accident. Although different variations of the scoring rules can sometimes yield different results, under common circumstances it can be shown that such differences are so small that they have no significant effect on the major strategic considerations of the game. There is now also a North American scoring system, which somewhat splits the minute differences between the traditional Chinese scoring and traditional Japanese scoring. A key feature of these North American rules is that they impose a 1 point cost on each pass move. In this particular game, the players were of nearly equal strength, and Black won largely because he got the first move. To compensate for this advantage, since the 1940s, it has been common for White to receive a bonus of some specified number of points called the komi. Throughout the second half of the 20th century, in Japan, the komi was specified to be 5.5 points. So here we have 5.5 extra points awarded to White. With that komi, White would have won this game by a half point. Here is a typical position taken from a popular Go book. Some pundit might say that he thinks the move at A is relatively small, but D is big, while C is even bigger. My initial attempts to quantify such statements led to considerable frustration. Great Go players don't want to engage in numerical discussions. They only want to play Go. So, in the mid-1990s, I devised a new variation of the game called Coupon Go. This game compels the players to make quantitative decisions. This particular game began with an empty Go board and a stack of 40 coupons. The values of the coupons are 20, then 19.5, then 19, and 18.5, all the way down. White also received an initial komi of 9.5, roughly half the value of the top coupon on the stack. At each turn, a player may choose either to take the top coupon, which is then added to his score, or, if he wishes, he may instead play on the board. So let's watch the opening of this game. Black goes first, and off they go, both players initially taking coupons. Black was Zhuzhou Jiang, the same player who led the Chinese to their 1985 victory over Japan. White was Naiwei Rui. She is the student of Go Sagan who, in 2002, became the first woman to win a major international title match in open competition. Both players thought the first moves on the board were worth less than the 15-point coupon, but more than the 14.5-point coupon. But after these first three corner moves, Zhuzhou took the 14.5-point coupon rather than the fourth corner. This game, by the way, was played right here in Berkeley at the Mathematical Sciences Research Institute. Most professional games entail between 200 and 300 moves on the board, and this game was no exception. I'll now skip ahead from move 21 to the position after move 267. At this point, all coupons down through 1.5 have been taken. It turns out analysis of positions such as this is simplified if, down here below the bottom of the board, we assume that instead of there being only coupons spaced 0.5 apart, the stack of coupons remaining down here were so thick that the difference between successive coupons is infinitesimally small.